morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you're attending from. And welcome to our webinar today. We're excited to be delivering this to you. This is a time in the industry where there seems to be a lot of churn and a lot of uncertainty as to exactly what the next steps are as you're evaluating how to go in your unified communications direction. We hope to be able to deliver some answers for you today. First of all, before we get started, I just wanted to apologize. I'm just kind of getting over a cold today, so if I start coughing or if I go away, it's because I hit the mute button. The conference hasn't dropped or anything. I'm just trying to cover up so you don't have to hear all of my coughing. But one of the, with many customers that have legacy voicemail systems, those back from even as old as the 90s, there's been obviously many of those are going away, end of life, end of support. Avaya announced with the Octels, kind of the subject line of today's conference is about Octel. But it really goes far beyond just the Octel and Avaya's announcement of some of the issues that are going to be coming forward with the Octel systems. It really extends to really any other legacy voice messaging system, those old closed proprietary systems like the Octel system. But it even extends beyond that. Back about 10 or 15 years ago, there were a number of organizations that tried to take a proactive approach to this and tried to start taking the next step into a kind of a second generation messaging product. And even many of those organizations found themselves a little bit disappointed in those, quite frankly. While they had many things that sizzled and made nice presentations, oftentimes they were missing many of the basic applications that they'd been using on their Octel and Centigram and Intuity Audix and Meridian mail systems, and it caused them some real issues going forward. And that's what we'd like to address today, and see if we can't present to you some solutions available from AVST that might help address those needs that you're seeing in your organization today. So AVST, who are we? For those of you that aren't familiar with us, we've been around for a long time. We were actually one of the companies, along with Octel, back in the late 70s and early 80s, that were the inventors of voicemail. Before the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, voicemail did not exist. And we got our start back in the early 80s, and we're one of the companies that were inventing this brand new technology of voice messaging, automated attendant call processing solutions. We've been at it for a long time. We said have a very wide customer base across all industries, and we'll take a look at that. But we have really developed into, over the last 30 years, what is widely recognized as a best-of-breed solution by many of the major consulting firms that take a look at this from an independent perspective. The solutions that are available from AVST are widely seen as the best in the industry within the niche of unified communications that we address. As we all know, unified communications isn't a box that contains a single product that you can go to Best Buy and pull off the shelf. The unified portion of the term unified communications really highlights what unified communications is, and that's taking a look at what are the best of breed products out there and bringing them together and having them operate together as if they were one. And that's really where we have led the industry in providing interoperability into your environment, regardless of what it looks like today and regardless of what it's going to look like tomorrow. The AVST provides solutions across a broad range of unified communications technologies. Now, we don't deliver everything in unified communications. We're not a PBX manufacturer. We don't make routers and switches and telephones and things like that. But within the niche of unified communications, we actually have the most breadth and depth of experience within the corners of unified communications that we deal with. As you can see, over 20 years of unified messaging experience, delivering our first unified messaging solution back in the early 90s. Speech recognition for nearly 2 decades now. And we have the broadest range of SIP and IP-based PBX integrations of any manufacturer within the industry. And that's the level of breadth and depth of our expertise, the flexibility of our product to integrate into your environment the way it looks today without you having to make wholesale changes to that environment is really what has led a broad range of customers of all sizes, from small little 4-port systems up to large organizations that have 4, 5, 6, 7, 1,000 ports of messaging within their environment, all running on the CX product and the AVST family of products. So across a broad spectrum of enterprises and vertical markets, we really have a very strong position in the industry, delivering UC solutions to our customer base. Now, one of the strengths that Octel had particularly, and a number of the legacy voice messaging products, especially those that came from independent enterprises, is their ability to integrate to different PBXs. And that's really one of our key competencies as well. As I mentioned, we're not owned by a PBX manufacturer, and we don't manufacture a PBX ourselves. So integrating into PBXs, whether they happen to be legacy PBXs, TDM, non-IP-based PBXs, hybrid systems that do both TDM, standard digital and analog connections along with IP technologies, or whether they're pure IP PBXs, we have one of the broadest and deepest integration portfolios of any system currently available. And not only supporting all the major and minor brands, not only of the current systems, but also of the legacy systems, integrating with telephone systems that may even be 15, 20 years old or more. But we also support simultaneous integration to multiple telephony platforms on a single CX system. And this allows you, if your organization is a multi-site organization, and maybe you've got a VIA at your headquarters, but you acquired another company, and maybe they're a Cisco shop, and then another organization that has come into the fold that may have a Siemens platform, and there at headquarters, you're looking to maybe migrate from the Avaya platform, maybe to an IP Centrex solution to be able to tie all of your sites together under one PBX platform, and that be a cloud-based solution powered maybe by BroadSoft or Cisco, for example. We can integrate to all of those simultaneously from a single CX platform. And that's really been one of the things that that has drawn many customers to us, is our ability to interoperate into their environment and accommodate their environment without them having to make significant upgrades to their existing PBX platform. For example, you may have a 15-year-old Nortel Meridian PBX that has an old Meridian Mail or even Call Pilot system on it. You can migrate over to a CX platform on there without having to upgrade your PBX, which is very unique in the industry, the ability to accommodate your PBX where it is today and where you're going to be tomorrow in the most non-invasive manner possible. So to illustrate the options available to you as you are making these decisions, we thought we'd highlight one of our customers, the University of Toronto, and take a little snapshot of who they are, what their needs were, and how those were addressed with the CXE platform. University of Toronto, Canada's largest university by far, and as a matter of fact, one of the largest universities in North America, not just in Canada. As you can see, nearly 75,000 students, well over 11,000 faculty and staff members, so very large university. Multiple sites. They had 3 main campuses that they wanted to unify together into a single messaging platform. They had people that needed to have contact with each other and easily be able to communicate between the different campuses. And so unifying communications across those 3 campuses was a very high priority to them. And the unique architecture and feature set of CX really fit right into that direction, into that desire that the university had. The feature set available on the CX platform, things like supporting different dialing plans. So you could have completely different dialing plans across these 3 campuses, or maybe you even have conflicting dialing plans between these 2 or 3 of these campuses. We are uniquely architected to be able to handle those very quickly and easily within the CX platform. Even spreading across time zones, being able to allow callers to hear messages in the time and date stamp in their particular time zone, even though messages are stored and the database is in a centralized location that may be in a completely different time zone for them. And the unique multi-server architecture of the system itself really lent itself to providing not only allowing all of the users to be on a single messaging platform, but providing significant levels of survivability to those remote campuses. So let's take a look at the architecture and what the architecture provides to you within your organization as you look to provide a solution that is not only functional and very feature-rich, but also has a very high level of survivability, providing high availability and disaster recovery in the event that something happened within the enterprise to block communications. Now, within the architecture of the CX platform, there's 2 primary server components. Now, there are some other ancillary servers that go along with this architecture, but for the base functionality of the system, there's 2 primary server components. There's the system server, which is really kind of the brains of the operation. This controls the main database. All administration is done towards the system server. It's where the messages are stored for all users. The mailboxes reside on the system server. If you're doing unified messaging and passing messages off to the email server, that's the system server's job to handle that communication. So this is the guy that really runs the show, the system server. Call servers are the workhorses. These are the ones that actually connect to the PBX. When you pick up your phone to call into your mailbox, although your mailbox resides on the system server, your call is answered by a call server. Automated attendant calls are answered by the call servers, and calls are processed on the call servers. So call servers can be installed locally to the system server and remotely. You can install one or multiple call servers at multiple locations throughout your enterprise. The unique thing about call servers are they don't have the full database resided on them, but they do have enough of the database so that they can carry on all of their real-time call processing and message-taking activities. So that even something happens within the cloud that blocks communication from Site 2 over to Site 1, all of your automated attendant functions are completely uninterrupted for any calls coming in at Site 2. If a user has our availability processing, our find me, follow me, we'll talk about that a little later, show you what that is. That's completely uninterrupted. Callers will be able to leave messages for users, and those messages will be queued on the call server till communication is restored to the system server. So very high levels of survivability, and deploying multiple call servers at a location means that the loss of a single call server doesn't render the system inoperable. The other call server just keeps right on going, answering calls as if nothing happened. Now, obviously, losing communication to a system server, very high level of survivability. Users can't log into their mailbox temporarily, but very high level of survivability there. Now, to protect against that, you can deploy multiple system servers. And a co-located system server operates as a hot standby. Database is synchronized on a real-time basis between these two, so that in the event the primary system server goes offline for whatever reason or has to be taken offline for maintenance or whatever, the secondary system server takes over, and the call servers automatically rehome to that secondary system server, providing continuation of operation automatically in the event of a failure of any of the components of the system. It's an automatic switchover, an automatic taking over of survivability. Now, to handle disaster recovery, you can take that secondary system server and install it at a remote location. And installed remotely, it operates as a warm standby, still fully synchronized with the database, so that at any given time these two look identical. But in the event that this site is lost completely, for example, or even if just the system server is lost, it's a very quick process to activate this backup system server, and as soon as it comes up online, any surviving call server will automatically rehome to that backup system server. To provide the full gamut of survivability, of course, you can provide all three system servers. Two co-located to provide the high availability and automatic failover and switchover, and then the disaster recovery at a remote DR site to handle unforeseen circumstances that may take an entire site down or an entire data center has to be shut down. Providing truly unmatched and unrivaled high availability and survivability and disaster recovery. The scalability of the solution is unmatched. You get scalability up to 500 ports, well over 40,000 users, and 20 call servers that can be spread across many, many sites, and even extending out to just simple gateways, media gateways at other locations, to allow us to serve enterprises of any size. So we can scale from a single server operating with just 4 ports, serving 50, 100 users at a single site location, up to a large enterprise. We have one enterprise that has, I think, 5 or 6 different systems now, 700, 800 ports all networked together. And one of those CX systems is serving about 40 or 50 different locations, each with its own different PBX. And it's all unified together as a single system within there. Of course, we are architected and certified as fully VMware ready. So if VMware is a strong impetus within your environment, then we can certainly support that. Of course, one of the challenges they had their legacy Octel system for many, many years, and one of their main thrusts was minimal retraining of their users. They really wanted to make this transition as transparent as possible to their users, the faculty and staff there. And the breadth and depth of feature set that we have, more than 3 decades of continually developing the feature set of the product, means we have the broadest and deepest feature set available of any system on the marketplace now. And as the University of Toronto and as you decide to start deploying some of the advanced features, the advanced unified communications features of the system, our a la carte licensing on the system means that you don't have to deploy everything at once. There's very little in the system that's a one-size-fits-all, and you can deploy the licensing based on the needs of your individual users, your specific sets of users. And that was something that was very appealing to the university, that ability to license the system based on their needs. And of course, we have the most accurate telephone user interface emulations of many legacy voice messaging systems, including the Octel ARIA system that they had, meaning that they had to do virtually no end-user training for their users. The keystrokes that they used for message management were virtually identical to what they use today, which made that transition very, very smooth for them. Now, one of the things that Octel systems were famous for, of course, was their ability to do automated attendant call processing applications. And they had a significant need to maintain that caller experience, and they also wanted to expand that to provide additional capabilities to their callers in interacting with the university. The CXE platform has one of the most powerful call processing engines available. Again, it's been developed over 30 years, simply adding features to the system. We very rarely discontinue standard features of the system. The number of standard features of the system we've discontinued over the last 30 years, you could probably count on the fingers of one hand, which meant that we could deploy more than 300 auto-attendant menus for the university, duplicate what they had today, plus do it easier than they were doing it today, and give them some additional capabilities that they didn't have before. And the CXE platform right now is taking nearly 500,000 calls a month, and the system is operating without a hitch. We've had no significant problems, no significant downtime on the system since it's been implemented, and it has been a very reliable system, which is one of the things that people that have Octel systems have come to depend on, because Octel systems were virtually bulletproof. And the CXE platform has a very similar reputation in the industry. And they really had an eye towards some of the more advanced UC applications. The first step of that was unified messaging. That's really kind of the first step into unified communications for many enterprises. And of course, they had a premise-based solution now, but with all the cloud-based solutions, and particularly with education, many of the cloud providers provide very attractive pricing models for universities and educational institutions. So evaluating cloud-based solutions for email was something that they were taking a look at. So that was very important to them to be able to support not only their premise-based email solution that they had implemented already, but also to be able to accommodate cloud-based solutions if they decided to migrate to that. And we provide that. We integrate with virtually any premise or cloud-based email solution available, including the major cloud-based solutions like Office 365, Google Gmail, providing enhanced integrations to both of those environments. And as I said, virtually any other premise or cloud-based email environment currently around today. And not only can we integrate to an existing email single platform, we can integrate to multiple email servers simultaneously. So as the university makes their decision, if and when they do, to migrate to a cloud-based solution, that's not something that happens on a Friday night. That's a transition that spans a period of time. And the ability to integrate simultaneously with multiple email platforms allows that transition to happen very smoothly and easily for the university and for you. You may be in an enterprise that maybe through mergers and acquisitions already has multiple premise-based email solutions. We were talking with one university a few years ago that had over 150 different email platforms on campus. And we were the only solution that they were looking at that simultaneously supported providing unified messaging to all of those email platforms from a single CX platform. So the flexibility we offer, where messages are stored, they don't all have to be moved over to the email server. You can mix and match where messages are stored, what method of unified messaging you want to deliver to your users in any way that makes sense for you. So that's why University of Toronto partnered with us But why do other customers? I mean, you saw our customer list at the beginning, and we have a broad range of customers, not only within higher education, but within healthcare, enterprise organizations, federal, local, state government. Why do they take a look at us? Why do time and time again major organizations, major enterprise choose AVST to provide their next generation unified messaging solution? And these are a small sampling of the reasons. Not only, and I guess these really summarize into, not only do we support the existing applications that they're doing now on their legacy, your first, second generation messaging platforms, but we also provide a very flexible licensing platform to allow them to migrate into the next generation of unified communications applications, whether that's advanced mobility features, migrating to IP telephony technologies, automating business processes through enhanced communications, migrating from premise-based solutions to cloud-based. And that most enterprises are not saying we're going to be premise-based today and tomorrow everything's going to be in the cloud. It's generally a hybrid solution where some things are cloud-based, some things are premise-based. And the unique architecture and licensing of CX allows you to support all of those thrusts and projects migrating forward without having to make significant adjustments to the system itself. Very unique architecture, very unique feature set, very unique flexibility in your ability to deploy advanced unified communication solutions to your users and benefiting your enterprise as a whole. As we move forward, we've talked a lot about where the system is. What were the things that the University of Toronto evaluated in the last year or two, as they made their decision. And as you can see, the CX platform is a very broad and rich platform as it stands. But a couple of months ago, we released our newest version, our latest version of CXC, which is version 8.5. And we wanted to share with you that there were obviously a number of features, new features and functionality that came with version 8.5. But we wanted to share with you really probably the biggest highlight of version 8.5, and that's Atom. Atom, which stands for the Total Office Manager, Next Generation Total Office Manager, is a very, very exciting next step in providing and delivering unified communications functions and capabilities to your users. And the Atom term is really kind of an umbrella term that provides a very broad range of capabilities to help service your mobile users. And when we speak of mobile users, we're not speaking of necessarily road warriors, or they certainly do fall into the mobile user definition, certainly. But quite frankly, just about every user within an enterprise is a mobile user at one time or another. And that's the unique thing about Atom, is you don't have to license all of Atom with your system. Again, following the pattern that we've had throughout our history, that there's nothing in the system that's a one-size-fits-all. You can license all of Atom or just portions of Atom for specific users based on their specific individual needs. But Atom as an umbrella term, it allows you to do a broad range of things. For example, for an Atom user, they set up a basic schedule of how calls are routed to them. So when somebody dials their telephone number, how do we get that call connected to the user? Especially with mobile users, whether they are full-time mobile or just sometimes mobile users, they're not necessarily always sitting at their desk. Maybe on Monday and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday they're in the office, but on Tuesday they always work from home. Users would set up a basic schedule that would say on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, calls will ring to their desk phone, followed by their cell phone if they're not able to be reached at their desk phone, but automatically on Tuesday during working hours will ring their home telephone, followed by their cell phone if when people try to reach them. No sense in ringing their desk phone if they're always working from home on Tuesdays. Well, obviously, that handles the normal daily schedules, but as we know, everybody's doing lots of different things during the day. So not only can we have the basic schedule that's set there, and of course you can do manual overrides at any time, but we provide a number of tools to do automatic overrides. So whether it's your Exchange calendar, Office 365, your Google Calendar, as your calendar changes or your status within OCS or Link, we will automatically override how calls are directed to you based on what your schedule is and what your particular needs are. So, for example, as a call comes in for you at 9 a.m. on a Monday, we'll ring your desk phone, followed by your cell phone. But if that same call comes in at 10:30 on Monday, maybe you don't want to ring your desk phone because if you're in a meeting, you're either not at your desk or you're on your phone. So maybe during a meeting we won't disturb you at all, or maybe we'll just direct calls to your cell phone as opposed to your desk phone or your home phone. And we'll inform the caller what's going on and what your status is, and you as a user can determine how much information you want to give to the caller. We can do that not only by doing automatic overrides with your calendar and your link status, but also based on your physical location. So based on either Wi-Fi synchronization or cell phone geofencing, we will determine where you are and can automatically adjust how calls are directed to you based on where you physically are with the tools available within our mobile app. For example, as you're driving into work, we know that you're not synchronized with any Wi-Fi, so we'll just ring to your cell phone. As you walk into the office, your cell phone syncs with the office Wi-Fi, and we automatically start directing calls to your desk phone, followed by your cell phone, unless you change your link status or your calendar shows that you're in a meeting, allowing you to really tailor how calls are routed to you based on your specific needs and where you are and what you're doing. The mobile app that does that geofencing and location-based services provides many other UC functions to you as well, and mobility functions, really giving the mobile user the ability to access the things that they need and to be accessed by other people in the ways that make sense and are most convenient for them. So, for example, it enables things like segmenting personal and business communications, supporting bring-your-own-device initiatives at many enterprises. Even though you have access to much corporate information like your messages, your contacts, your calendar, things like that, we never actually copy and store any corporate data on the telephone itself. So that in the event a user leaves with their device, even though they may have the mobile app on their device, you shut the app off and they no longer have access to the corporate data. So supporting bring-your-own-device initiatives is a very powerful tool. Single number reach. Instead of publishing 4 or 5 different telephone numbers as your contact information, publish a single number. And callers will dial that, and based on all the functions that we just saw and capabilities we just saw, the system will be able to find you and deliver the calls to you based on where you are and what you're doing. And managing that through the mobile app is a very powerful tool. Now, while not specifically an Atom feature, we extend the mobility features and capabilities to the administrator as well, providing a mobile web app for the administrators themselves to give them access to some basic, commonly used administrative functions, things like security code resets, being able to adjust how the automated attendant answers calls, be able to adjust to that and override that from a remote location so that in the event of inclement weather, you can easily override the automated attendants to have an emergency closure notice be broadcast to your callers, and be able to do that from the comfort of your own home very quickly and easily through your tablet, through your mobile phone, or through your PC. when allowing you to communicate to callers without actually being connected to them. So as calls come into you, we will deliver information to you with a display information about who's calling. It could be just their telephone number. It could be their name and their telephone number. Any number of bits of information playing their recorded name to you so that you know who's calling, and then you can decide what to do, to accept the call, reject the call. But one feature that I've loved for years is the acknowledge feature, which allows you to record a message which will be delivered back to the caller on your behalf. So say you're walking into a meeting, you can quickly press acknowledge and say, hey, Bob, I'm getting ready to walk into a meeting. I'll be back in about an hour, and I'll call you then. You disconnect, and you walk into your meeting, and the system will deliver that message back to the caller on your behalf. Now, of course, what happens when Bob calls you and you're in the meeting? Of course, your phone will vibrate. You can glance down and see who's calling and send a silent acknowledgement. Obviously, you can't be recording a message to be delivered back to the caller when you're sitting in a meeting, but you can very quickly and easily just push one of the buttons and you push "we'll call in an hour" and send that, and that will be delivered back to the caller on your behalf, and you haven't interrupted the meeting, and you've been able to close the loop with the caller as well. We talked about unified messaging a little bit and our ability to support that. Adam supports that not only for premise-based solutions, but with cloud-based solutions as well, whether it's email, contacts, calendar, so that when you're on the go, you can open up the mobile client, select one of your contacts, and dial that number from the mobile app. It'll allow you to dial that person and protect your mobile number. So your mobile number will not be displayed as the caller ID that's delivered to the person you're calling. So it protects your mobile number and allows you to be able to connect to that very quickly and easily. With the speech interface that Adam provides, not only can you do that through the mobile app, obviously if you're driving down the highway, you don't want to be pulling up your mobile app and trying to sort through your contacts to place a call. You can simply tap your Bluetooth headset, call into your mailbox, and when you get into your mailbox, say, call John Smith. The system will look into your contacts and place a call to John Smith for you. And any other all of the rest of the commands and controls within your mailbox are all speech accessible to you with simple normal speech commands, and it's a multilingual speech engine. So addressing the multilingual needs of your organization and of your employees, and not only doing this for your users, but of course the speech also extends to the automated attendant to provide multilingual speech-enabled automated attendant for your callers to be able to easily navigate through and get connected to the person that they need to speak with. So as Adam came out a couple of months ago, it really made a splash in the industry, and as major players and evaluators within the unified communication space, Michael Finnerman, Dave Michaels, as they took a look at the functionality of this capability, Gartner, Frost & Sullivan, any number of the independent evaluators and communicators and commentators on unified communications, it's really been met with a very positive, feedback from the entire industry, and has really been seen as a market-leading solution that you can provide to your users and to your company to really enable them to deliver the capabilities and functions that your users are clamoring for today. I mean, we all use things like Siri and other consumer-based applications to provide a number of these types of functions. This is taking it into the enterprise, allowing you to deliver those kind of features that people use in their personal life, be able to be delivered to them for business communication. And again, with the capabilities of the system, the flexibility of the system, the interoperability of the system, being able to deliver that in the increments that make sense to you and your organization, and to be able to accommodate your existing organization and enterprise, regardless of what it looks like today, whether it's from a telephony standpoint, email, back-end business processes that can be automated, and custom applications devised for them, regardless of what your enterprise looks like today and what it's going to look like tomorrow. The ability of the system to be able to accommodate that without you having to make significant changes to that really makes the CXE platform an unrivaled solution for you to deliver to your enterprise. So I think that's all we have to deliver here today, but we do want to open it up for questions. So, Emily, do we have anything coming yet?
We do have a few questions. The first question is actually about pricing, and they're wondering how they can get pricing information for CXE 8.5. Yeah,
that's a great question. If you're already an AVST customer, all you have to do is pick up the phone and contact your supporting dealer, and they'll be happy to do that. If you are not an AVST dealer, simply contact AVST, and at the end, Emily will give you all of the contact information for that. You'll also be receiving it in email, but contact us, and we will certainly have one of our sales personnel get in contact with you. We can't just throw out a number. We really need to take a look, because of the flexibility of the system, how the many different ways it can be configured. We really need to take a detailed look at your particular environment and what your specific needs are. But we can certainly do that. We're more than happy to do that. And like I said, either contact your dealer if you're an AVST customer, or give us a call directly, or contact us directly, and we'll be happy to help you out with that.
Okay, and the next question, they are wondering if this presentation will be available. And again, we will email you a copy of the slide deck as well as a recording of the webinar. So you can go ahead and just look for an email from us. And again, if you have any questions or feedback, or like Dick said, if you want any pricing information, you can email us at info@avst.com, and we will get right back to you on that. Next question is, my CFO is talking about moving to a hybrid cloud type deployment. What are some of the first steps that we need to take?
Well, that's a great question, and everybody's trying to figure that out. Probably one of the first things you need to do is to step back and see and really evaluate what needs to be in the cloud and what needs to stay on premise. What we're finding is most enterprises, there are certain portions of their infrastructure and certain portions of their communications that they feel comfortable with moving up to the cloud. But there's other portions of it that really they're not comfortable letting go outside of their firewall, and that's probably the first step that you need to take is to critically look at the type of communications you have, the type of data that you have, because we're not just talking about communications, we're talking about data, email, other types of communication, and other types of data. What makes sense to put outside your firewall, and what critically needs to stay within the firewall. Obviously, how your network is set up is critical to cloud-based computing. The needs of your internal and external data communications links, those change significantly as you start migrating things to the cloud. What that really keys down to is to getting yourself partnered with a company like AVST and many of our dealers that have a great deal of experience with enterprises migrating portions of their communications and their infrastructure up to the cloud. And sometimes it means not not the public cloud, but maybe it means expanding your private cloud. The things that stay within your firewall, within your VPN, within your network, your own private network, and finding other ways that might make sense to expand that to provide some additional capabilities that you may think have to be up in the public cloud, but may not necessarily have to be up there. But every organization is different. Those are the first couple of steps that you need to take. But really, before all of that, you really need to find somebody that you can partner with, that can really help you evaluate those types of decisions. And we have a network of partners that not only deal with AVST, but also deal with a number with other technologies within the unified communication space, and have a lot of experience with cloud-based computing, and can certainly help you with those types of decisions. So if you'd like to start moving in that direction, feel free to contact your existing dealers and vendors, and you can certainly contact AVST, and we'll help match you up with somebody that will really be able to help take care of you and partner with you, not just walk in the door and try and sell you something, but really partner with you to find the best solution for your enterprise. Every enterprise is unique and has specific individual needs. A one-size-fits-all really doesn't fit within it shouldn't fit within anybody's solution these days. You really need to have a solution. Look at solutions that are going to be flexible to adjust with the changing needs of your enterprise and of technology.
Okay, great. Next question is Schedule Express included with the purchase of CXE 8.5?
Yeah, it's generally included with most systems that go out the door. It's not included as a standard feature today because quite frankly there are a number of organizations that don't need its functionality. They have it may be a smaller organization, has one auto attendant schedule, and that's pretty much it. Schedule Express, for those that don't know, is an optional module of the CX platform that allows for much more granular scheduling of various auto attendant schedules, maybe for different departments, different divisions within an enterprise and an organization. So we don't include that with every system that walks out the door. It's an optional module, and that way it can be tailored and delivered only to an enterprise that really needs its functionality, and everybody doesn't have to pay for it.
Great. And last question, what types of licensing requirements do you need to purchase Atom?
So Atom is, as I mentioned during the presentation, I didn't break it down a little further, I will now, is that Atom is kind of an umbrella term that we have, and an umbrella license that is a bundling of other system and user licensing. It's a bundling of the unified messaging user license, the personal assistant mobility user license, and a quantity of speech resources, speech recognition resources. And it bundles those together at a discounted rate from purchasing those individually in an equivalent quantity. The nice thing about that is for those users that have the need of the full range of Atom features, you can purchase the Atom license, which includes all of those other licenses together. And then for those users that don't have the needs of the full breadth and depth of the Atom capabilities, you can buy just the unified messaging license, or just the speech license, or just the personal assistant license, or just personal assistant and speech, but not unified messaging. So in other words, you can mix and match these in any way that makes sense for you. If you already have a CXE system, a Call Express or CXE platform, and you already have some personal assistant and some unified messaging and some speech licenses, you have all of Atom functionality if you're at version 8.5. Now, you can add to that. You can, if you have a bunch of unified messaging and just a couple of personal assistant and just a couple of speech resources, you can convert them to Atom licenses to at a cost savings as well. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you license your system. Again, we say this about 1 million times, but there's virtually nothing in the system that's a one-size-fits-all. So you mix and match things as needed based on what your specific requirements are. I mean, we just sold a system to a major enterprise in the Midwest. The 384 port system covering, I think about 12,000 people. They licensed the whole system. They're adding new employees all the time, and they just licensed their system for 15,000 Atom users right off the bat because they saw the benefits of Atom and what it could do for their users, and they knew that their users, whether they were full-time mobile or just occasionally mobile, could really use that level of functionality. So they just licensed their whole system for Atom. But you can choose what makes sense for your enterprise and your organization. So that's what Atom is broken down to. And we did that on purpose, again, so that it gives you the flexibility to design the system in the way that makes sense for you. No, thanks everybody for joining us. Enjoyed visiting with you today, and we look forward to talking to you again.